What is going on, guys? It is Daniel Wright, and you are listening to a live episode of Paving the Way on this beautiful but freaking hot Wednesday morning. Guys, I hope you're doing great this week. We're kind of doing something a little bit different. It only took us 115 episodes to actually do a live one, not a pre-recorded one, but hey, we're going to give it a shot. So we're going to be talking about networking. I've got an event coming up this weekend out in Denver, Colorado with the Top Contractor School group, and figured it was a little fitting to be talking about networking and the power of networking for anyone who might be interested. So let's get started. All right, guys. Welcome back. Hey, if you are tuning in this morning at 10:55 a.m. on the East Coast here, that means either one, you're probably not working, two, you don't work, or three, you've explained to your boss that this is way more valuable and important to tune into this right here, right now, than anything else you're supposed to be doing at work. So I'm just going to go with that. Might not be the truth, but nonetheless, sounded good to me. So, guys, today, like I said, we got a retreat coming up for Top Contractor School. We do those twice a year. They're the bigger events that we do. And at the end of the day, it's really just a big network of individuals, right? We have people in this group from roofers to electricians to home builders, welders, asphalt pavement guys, epoxy flooring guys, whatever you call, anything in the trade industry, we have a network full of these individuals. In this network, these individuals are built from ground level. So people who are just starting out, just scratching the surface of their journey in entrepreneurship or in their business, all the way to people who've been doing this for 20, 30 plus years and have, 8-figure companies. So the network is so wide and so vast of people that have so much different knowledge and experience that everybody has something to bring to the table to offer the rest of the group. And that kind of leads me to my first point about when you get into a network, you're going to very quickly realize that you don't know what you don't know, right? We've all probably heard that saying before, but it's extremely true, because as entrepreneurs or as business leaders or any sort of leader for that matter, sometimes we get into these little ruts where we think we've got our sector, mastered. Like, where we've got, what we do, how we do it, it's like we're the best at it. And if you do think that, I hate to break it to you, you're wrong. That's exactly just your ego talking to you. You actually don't know everything. You're not the master at it. There are people who are better than you at it. But if you don't get into these rooms, if you don't get into these networks of individuals that can help level you up, then you're never going to know what you don't know. And too many times I come across other contractors specifically, because that's the industry and the realm that I kind of hang out in. But I come across people who, they don't put themselves out there. Right? They don't get involved in different networks. They don't put themselves into, rooms or situations where they're around people who do things differently than them, or they're in a different business but similar industry as them. Because if you're not in those rooms, then you're just living with your head in the sand. And I tell folks all the time, if you have to do that for a period of time, sure. We all go through times where we just got to put our head down, nose to the grindstone, and just get things done. But if you do that for an extended period of time, then you're only going to be just literally running on a treadmill and just doing the same thing. So you have to make sure that you're getting out there and learning, hey, I don't know everything about what I got going on here. So how do you do this? Or how do you recommend that I work on this in my business, or whatever it might be? So when you get in those conversations, though, you're going to find that there's more opportunities to give to that group than what you might realize. A lot of people start getting into these networks and these groups, and they think, what is this group going to do for me? What is this network going to do for me? And while you're going to receive benefit from it, because that's just how things work, that's just how reciprocity works, is, you get involved in things and you get benefits. The focus shouldn't be all about on what this group's going to do for you. The focus should be on what you can do for the group. Because like I said earlier, in any of these networks, you have people that come from all different backgrounds, yourself included, and you have experiences that other people haven't had. You have challenges that you've faced and overcome that other people haven't haven't faced them. Maybe they haven't faced them yet, or maybe they faced something different, but you have your own perspective on everything that you've done up until this point in your life, in your business, whatever the situation may be. And so when you go into it and you think, all right, what can I give to this group? Then you're going to find more opportunities to actually learn what you know. So it reinforces the stuff that you already know, and it helps you gain confidence and gain a little bit of notoriety amongst your peers that you can teach these things to them, or that you can help them solve their problems. And then when you take that there's times where I'm talking to other individuals about an issue they're having. Maybe it's a sales thing or an operational thing or process. And I say, oh, well, here's how we handle that here. Here's how we overcame that, so on and so forth. Once I have that conversation with them, then I typically end up coming back to my company, to my team, with a lot more confidence, a lot more, I guess, kind of swagger, if you want to call it that, for like, hey, we know what we're doing here. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep drilling down and figure out how to do it better and better and better. Because the more that you help people, the more that you're going to realize that it is extremely rewarding to keep leveling up yourself and your team. And so you want to figure out, what situations can you get in that you can provide value, that you can contribute to the group, contribute to the overall knowledge of the individuals and the overall industry that you're involved in. We've all heard the saying that, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. And although it might be a little bit cliche, some people might cringe at it, whatever it is, it's true, right? If you're just living in your own little world, in your own little, you're running your own little race and never putting yourself out there and getting involved and seeing what else is going on around you, then you are capping the revenue possibilities that you have in your company. And when you get outside of that, when you get uncomfortable, when you start shaking more hands and getting to know more people, magically more and more opportunities open up. And so it's one of those things that I've learned personally, because getting involved in like a group such as Top Contractor School, I've learned that there's a lot of different ways that we can actually run and grow our business to be effective, efficient, and profitable. Because for the longest time, I had the idea that if Daniel Wright wasn't on the job site, then the job couldn't get done. That I wanted to have this whole thing that revolved around me, and that I was the face of the company, that I did all the work. I'd answered the phone, I sent the invoice, I did the work, whatever it was, I did all of it. And then I started to learn that, what, that works, right? It's a model that does work, but it's extremely limited. And so by talking to other people within that network, I learned that you can actually build systems and processes in your company for other people to follow. There was a time that I was driving by a local fertilizer company. It's actually, ironically enough, our office is located in the building they used to be in. But there were some guys outside. It was like a Friday evening. They were around 6 or 7 o'clock, and they were out washing their trucks. And I stopped by. I was like, hey, I said, how come you guys are washing the trucks right now? Like, it's Friday, 7 o'clock. Don't everybody want to go home? He said, it's part of our job. Like, that's what we're supposed to do before we go home for the day. And something as simple as that actually clicked in my brain, that I said, wow, you can actually build a system. You can build a process with expectations of your team, of other people who are responsible for taking ownership of their things, and they're supposed to do them. Who would have thought, right? I guess because I was a absolutely horrible employee, that thought never really crossed my mind, because I never did what I was supposed to do or what anyone told me to do. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So the fact that you can actually learn these different things by putting yourself out there and knowing that, okay, if I build a system and a process over here for this department, they can take it and run with it. Then if I do the same thing for another department, they can take it and run with it. By doing that repetitively, and then you put people in charge of each of those departments, all of a sudden your business that you had that was just you, because you were the face of it, you were on every job site, you were answering every phone call, all of a sudden you can now scale 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 times the size of what you were, because you've actually built something out. And circling this back to what I said, when I first got involved in some of these networking groups, I thought that I had to be on every single thing that I did. But if it wasn't for that group and the people in it teaching me how to actually build a business that can operate without my hands touching everything, then we would have been, stuck back where we were back in, 2018, 2019. And so going back to the saying of the more hands you make, or the more hands you shake, the more money you make, it's not all about literally just making money. It's not all about just actually shaking a hand and getting a deal. It's about learning from the other people that you're shaking hands with. And then you can, like I said before, you can then teach them the things that you've learned, whether it's from that network or from your own experiences. You're shaking hands and you're actually learning shit and applying it in your life. They're doing it in theirs. And then, like we said, the law of reciprocity, what goes around comes around. You're going to benefit from it. If you find yourself in these rooms, guys, and you look around and you realize that you might be the smartest person in the room, I hate to break it to you, it's good for your ego, but it's bad for your progress. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. You need to get yourself in situations around people who are further along than you, who are better than you at what you're doing, and who are willing to teach you how to get where they're at. Because if you're not, you've stunted your growth. All you're doing is feeding your ego, like I said, and you're just making yourself feel good at that point. Yes, you can provide value as the smartest person in the room. And if you're the smartest person in the room, you better be up on stage giving a damn keynote or something to be teaching all these people at one time about what you know, how you did it, so on and so forth. But if you're not, and it's a networking opportunity, you need to find a different network. There are levels to networking. You start out as a lot of, base level stuff, whether it's local stuff around your community, entry level networks in your industry, whatever it may be. And to graduate up and out of those is okay. Because if you find yourself in that same network, spinning your wheels, having the same conversations, talking about the same shit, the same problems, the same issues, whatever it may be, then all you're doing is, again, you're running on a treadmill. It's no different than just living with your head in the sand. Instead, you're just got a whole bunch of other people with their head in the sand with you. I don't know about you, but that doesn't exactly sound like a very fun thing to do. So if you're not actually looking for opportunities to level up and to find new groups and new networks of individuals that you can help level up and they can help you level up, then you're stunting yourself. You owe it to yourself and the people who count on you to actually get yourself out there, progress, grow, and develop yourself as a better leader and a better business owner. So, like I said, guys, at the end of the day, it really comes down to being able to get yourself out there and get uncomfortable. We just went to a Lake Norman Chamber event last week, and it was one of those things where we just joined the chamber. We're starting to kind of go to more of the events and the get-togethers and things like that here locally. But if I'm being honest with you guys, it's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable to walk around and stick your hand out and start shaking people's hands that you have no idea who they are. And I don't really know exactly what makes it uncomfortable. I think there's a little bit of like the fear of the unknown. Is this person going to ask me something I don't know the answer to? Are they going to say they saw something that, I'm not exactly proud of? Are they going to, what's going to happen? It's the unknown is all it is. And Alex Hormozy says it. He says, fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. So if the fear is what's stopping you from getting out there and putting yourself in these situations, in these environments, in these networks that's going to allow you to grow and for you to give and contribute to the people around you, then you just got to get over it. You got to stand up and walk right through it. So one of the best things I can recommend doing is finding any sort of local networking opportunities to at least get started. A lot of times they're held at different, whether it's restaurants, whether it's other people's businesses, breweries, whatever it could be. It's in social settings that is welcoming and inviting. So put yourself out there, get in these rooms, find opportunities to give. When you walk into a room, first thing you should think about is who can I help? And then find that. Now, don't give unsolicited advice because that'll get your ass kicked right out of the room. But nonetheless, get in the rooms, shake the hands, provide the value, learn, absorb, whatever it is, and keep leveling up. So, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I hope that this was of some value for you. If it was, please hit a like, a share, comment, whatever you want to do. But just show a little bit of love. Share it with somebody who might help them level up, and we'll go from there. But like I said, we're going to be at the Top Contractor School Retreat later this weekend out in Denver, Colorado. Probably going to be about 50, 60 of us out there. Yours truly has been asked to give a little 30-minute presentation of some sort. So I'm sure there's going to be some good content coming out of that coming our way. But guys, I appreciate you guys' support. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and let me know if you need anything. Take care.